As bad as KJ saying if you've been a victim of SARR that you will do it to others. No, bitch. Just fuck right off with that shit. If she's a survivor, then is she a victimizer? Is that leakage?
I'm like one of those tough love kind of assault advocates, so yeah, you can fuck right off.
But if I'm sitting there watching someone speaking and they're white or Hispanic or whatever, and somebody is saying that they're racist, but I haven't heard anything having to do with anything racist. If I see someone saying something racist or something like that, I will call it out or I will try to educate people.
I will opt for education on things like racism, but when it comes to sexism, no, why would I want to make that better?
I'm pretty confrontational.
Because I only trust myself to determine if something's racist or not. I don't trust the actual victims of racism to tell me that.
I have a purpose to be a douchebag, look white and really be Hispanic, look black but really be Cherokee. So I just don't. But BX and Ren will just look at a person and decide.
See, if me, the white woman, knows better than to just assume someone's race, well, then surely black men should know better too.
Can white women be racist? Yes, they can. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I've seen it. Yes. Can confirm.
Doth the lady agree too much?
The only reason he backtracked was because a black woman jumped on there and he basically had to backtrack.
Yeah, he had to. He didn't have a choice. But why did it have to take a black woman to get the black man to retract? Why didn't he trust us white women? We've all been so kind to him thus far.
You only back down when a black woman jumped on your live stream and was like, hey.
Race has nothing to do with sexual assault.
No, it doesn't. That's my job as an advocate, to know that race has nothing to do with sexual assault. In fact, women are never targeted with sexual assault because of their race, and false witnesses never happen on black men.
As a person who passes for white very easily, no one would ever think that I'm part indigenous.
Exactly. I mean, I'm part Ashkenazi Jew and Debiza, so us minorities, we need to stick together.
I've had this conversation with black women, Hispanic women, indigenous women, all kinds of women, and we talk about abuse.
But really, it has nothing to do with race.
I don't care if somebody's white, Hispanic, black, Asian. No, if you're an abusive piece of shit, you're an abusive piece of shit. I don't care.
It's not about color. It is about a man going off on women.
It's about me. It's about how I'm treated as a woman. It may be about something else for him, like race, because he's a black man and he probably deals with racism. But that doesn't matter, because this is about me.
He said it didn't matter because that is how she felt, not him. It was racism to him. Dude, I'm part indigenous. Marcus is Hispanic.
Don't you talk to me about racism. No one knows it better than me, and certainly not some black man.
That's the problem that a lot of people had with what you said. You weren't paying attention, listening.
You weren't listening. You were too busy asking questions about what happened.
We've talked about this in other videos with Onision and all these other people. It's no different. It's the pity party. He's the victim, not the SA survivors who he triggered and verbally abused. He's the victim. As a black man, I would be surprised out of my chair if he was not victimized in this country. This is America. One kind of trauma does not trump another kind of trauma.
A lifelong trauma from racism does not trump him having abused me on a stream, so I'm not going to even entertain that.
Fuck these dudes who don't know any fucking better. You got a 13-year-old daughter. You have no idea what she's going to face. You could be walking home from school, just got off the bus, walking to her house, get pulled into an abandoned house, and brutalized.
Dude, like, what the fuck?
That happened. That was a 13-year-old little black girl.
But remember, though, race has nothing to do with assault. I'm just pointing this out because you're black.
That's the kind of shit that makes me want to find a forest somewhere, build a house, and avoid, and just create a woman's sanctuary where we don't have to deal with men's bullshit.
Yeah, but the other women would have to deal with my bullshit.
But you're going to have to come with proof that I'm racist, and there is none.
Yeah, but just keep watching this clip.
Here's proof that I'm not racist. One of my coworkers his car just broke down. So he can find a ride to work pretty easily in the mornings. I offer him a ride home.
And I don't even make him drive me.
A younger man of African descent. And I'm buddy-buddy with him while he's in my car and while we're at work.
I'm not even afraid to be alone with him in my car, and I also don't mind people knowing that I know him at work.
We shoot the shit all day, every day. I give him advice on any question that he's asked me.
But I'm not about to ask him for any advice. I mean, it doesn't work like that.
I don't care what the color of your skin is.
Well, except to point it out in this story here.
We live in a city where it's predominantly black, and that's part of the reason I moved here.
Oh, but don't worry, I didn't move here because this is all I could afford. I did it because I wanted to, so I can leave at any time if I have to. You could say I'm privileged like that.
It was because I no longer have the patience, and even back then I didn't, to be just only around white people because of my ancestry and things I have been through.
Oh no, I dealt with a lot of crap not because of the heritage that does show, the one that makes me look like I'm from Dublin, but because of my other heritage, the one that no one can see.
I wanted a city that was diverse and you could walk around in whatever you wanted to wear and wouldn't be looked at weird by anyone but the tourists.
Yeah, because the black people around here aren't going to judge me for looking like I'm slumming it. Okay, all jokes aside, I'm not denying at all that the things that Ren said in Charlotte's chat there, they were horrible. Absolutely. I guess I prefer to take the course of talking with him about it and helping him understand why that is, why what he said was so horrible. Because chances are he grew up a lot differently than I did. Not just because he's black and I'm white, but because he's male and I'm female. And I don't know where he lives and he doesn't know where I live. I bet we grew up a little bit differently. I bet the lessons we learned were a lot different from each other. So I'm willing to bet that he might need to hear somebody else's perspective to gain somebody else's perspective. And don't get me wrong, I have no hate for this channel. I don't, really. I don't want anyone to go to this channel. Don't show them any hate. Don't be mean to them or anything like that. And I get that this woman and others maybe don't like Ren. And whatever, that's fine. But if you don't like him, maybe just consider just not engaging with him and just let it be instead of running, really long streams about him. And the bottom line is, Ren did say some things that did, rightfully so, upset people. And they have every right to be upset. I'm not trying to take that away from them or argue them out of it. I just don't like how I'm seeing the double standard, how they can have all this right to be upset over sexism and abusive chats, but they then accuse him of reverse racism and say, why are you using the black card again? He's probably using the black card because he's dealing with a bunch of white people. And whether you want to admit it or not, you're going to be racially insensitive to a black person because you grew up white in this country. Hell, I probably did it 10 times throughout this video. I'm sorry, I just don't know. And I'm sure that this video will probably earn me another 2-hour long stream. I do ask though that if you are going to speak of things that I have done in the past, that you at least make the effort to learn the facts, because in that stream from October, I at no point throughout any of that said what I was accused of saying from your chat there. So you might want to check that out, just saying.